Hello, this is Meghnad and you're watching Sansad Watch, where we tell you what the leaders you elected have been doing for you. The election dates for 5 states have been announced. Citizens are getting set to vote for assembly elections starting next month. And there is one question that everyone is asking all parties and politicians that are campaigning. Jobs किधर है?
मैं मानता हूं इस देश में बेरोजगारी की समस्या है, मगर 55 साल आपके शासन करने के बाद भी अगर ये समस्या है तो मैं कहना चाहता हूं इसका समाधान किसने नहीं ढूंढा.
I want to assure them that in the last 6 years Narendra Modi government has created more number of job opportunities in Bihar, in rest of the country than any government in the history of independent India.
लेकिन अगर वो बेरोजगारी की बात करते हैं, क्या सारी बेरोजगारी इस 4 साल में पैदा हुई है? क्या इतनी बड़ी मात्रा में बेरोजगारी उन्होंने विरासत में दी थी या नहीं दी थी? क्या कांग्रेस पार्टी 10 साल के उनके शासन में देश में बेरोजगारी पर उन्होंने कोई काम नहीं किया था? इस सत्य को स्वीकार करते हैं कि नहीं करते हैं?
ये आप किसी भी युवा से पूछ लीजिए, आपको ये जवाब देगा कि आज हिंदुस्तान में सबसे बड़ी समस्या रोजगार की है. और हमने प्रधानमंत्री से 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 बार पूछा कि आपने 1.5 घंटे का भाषण किया है, इसमें आप थोड़ा सा 2 मिनट देश के युवाओं को रोजगार के बारे में बता दीजिए. देश के युवाओं को ये बता दीजिए कि आपकी सरकार ने उनको रोजगार दिलवाने के लिए क्या किया है.
There are other issues as well, and we will be keeping a watch on those too. By the way, we are doing an extensive coverage of all the 5 state elections. Our reporters, producers and editors are going to be on the ground to get you some solid reports and analysis. So do support our work and contribute for our Assembly Elections NL Sena project. Link is below. Anyway, one thing we know for sure is that when it comes to Uttar Pradesh, the people there are super happy about the employment situation. See for yourself. What? These aren't people from UP? Well, according to the Uttar Pradesh government employment portal, they sure are. And so are these people. Yup, keeping these super happy people aside, employment of actual citizens of the country is going to be one of the biggest issues in the coming months. According to CMI, India saw an unemployment rate of 7.9% in December last month. Not just that, since October, the unemployment rate has spiked and remained constant over 7%. Just to give you a comparison, in December 2020 during the pandemic, the unemployment rate was at 9.1%. A year before that, it was 6.3% and 4.7% before that. So, if you keep the pandemic year aside as an anomaly, our unemployment rate has spiked from 4.7% in 2018 to 7.9% in 3 years.
That escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
We know how bad the problem is based on how our politicians react to it. For instance, when CMI pointed out that Haryana has a crazy unemployment rate of 34%, Chief Minister of Haryana Manohar Lal Khattar got upset. This guy who promised Kashmiri bahus to younglings instead of jobs got upset. And no, he didn't get upset at the fact that 1/3 of the working population of his state is jobless. He got upset at CMI and accused them of using fictional data. He's threatened to take action against them for petty politics. All in all, the employment situation in the country is bad. So today I'm here to tell you that there is one sure shot indicator to gauge employment. It all comes down to how many people are benefiting from one single government scheme, the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, or MGNREGA. In fact, let me say this, if more people are availing benefits under MGNREGA scheme, it means the economic situation in our country is getting worse. Confused? मैं है ना, मैं explain करता है. You see, MGNREGA is the world's biggest employment guarantee scheme which legally guarantees 100 days of employment per year to adult members of any household that has a job card. This is for adults who are willing to do unskilled manual work at minimum wage. In other words, MGNREGA is a last resort scheme. If an adult in India does not get any other job which pays more, they fall back to working for minimum wage under this scheme. It's a version of welfare that economists called workfare. And Adarniya Modi ji called it a living monument of UPA's failure.
मनरेगा आपकी विफलताओं का जीता जागता स्मारक है.
Actually, the picture is quite different. In fact, after he said that way back in 2015, Adarniya Modi ji's government has been consistently increasing the budget allocated to MGNREGA year after year. Okay, let's get this straight. MGNREGA is a fallback option. It's a bit like ration. Why would a person get free ration and subsidized food if they can buy better quality food at market price? They do it only if their personal financial situation is bad. So the more people that are opting to get food via ration shops, the worse our country is doing economically. I mean, it's really bizarre when I see ads of Modi ji and Yogi ji about how many crores of people they gave free food to. It's really nothing to be proud of. If the economy was robust, you wouldn't need to do this. The fact that you do is an acknowledgement of failure, not success. And you need to stop spending taxpayer money to boast about it by chapoing your faces on those ration bags. Seriously. Anyway, it's the same with MGNREGA. If people don't get a good high-paying job, they apply for a minimum wage job under this scheme as a last resort. It's like casting Ashmit Patel because you can't afford John Abraham. Now, what does the latest MGNREGA data tell us about our economic situation? Well, it's shattering all records. We need to look at two things here. The number of people demanding employment under the scheme and the number of people getting employment under the scheme. Turns out in the last financial year, which ended in March 2021, more than 8 crore 55 lakh households were demanding employment, whereas employment was given to 7 crore 55 lakh people. But again, that was the pandemic time, so it was obvious that the scheme saw a spike. A year before that, 6 crore 16 lakh households were demanding work and 5 crore 48 lakh households actually got work. This year, from April to December 2021, a total of 6 crore 65 lakh households have demanded work and 5 crore 86 lakh actually got work. And mind you, this financial year isn't over yet. There are still 3 months left. What's even more worrying is that in all this, the number of young people between the age of 18 to 30 opting for MGNREGA has gone up for the second year. In 2018, 7.7% young people opted for the scheme. Last year, it was 10.6%, and right now, it's a crazy 12%, which means more than 1 of 10 employable people are between 18 to 30 years of age, and they are earning a minimum wage because there is no better option. डेमोग्राफिक डिविडेंड एनीवन? अब क्या करें? पकोड़े बेचे?
अगर आपके जी टीवी स्टूडियो के बाहर कोई पकोड़े बेचता है और शाम को 200 रुपया कमा करके घर जाता है, उस व्यक्ति को आप रोजगार मानोगे कि नहीं मानोगे?
But wait, I'm not done giving bad news yet. There is one more angle to this whole thing which should worry us. See, there is demand, there is some supply, but how many people actually got paid under this scheme? Now, earnings from MGNREGA depend on two things: number of days that a person gets work and the amount of minimum wage that the person gets paid for doing the work. MGNREGA guarantees 100 days of work, but the actual number of work days per person has been hovering between 40 to 50 days since 2014. This year, the average is 43 days. So, they aren't even getting the guaranteed number of 100 work days. Now, the second factor, minimum wage. It varies across states. For instance, in Haryana, the average wage rate per day per person is 312 rupees, which is the highest. Whereas in Telangana, it's 172 rupees, which is the lowest. So, a person will end up earning more after working for the same number of days in Haryana than in Telangana. When it comes to actual income though, in Mizoram, a household earned 19,600 rupees, while in Assam, the earning has been 6,300 rupees. Mind you, this is an average of annual earnings and this varies wildly across states. Here's another piece of bad news that you might not have heard about. The central government has run out of money to pay people under MGNREGA. Yes, in this year's budget, the central government had allocated 73,000 crore rupees for this scheme. But the actual expenditure to date has been 99,770 crore. The finance ministry knows this, so they allocated an extra 10,000 crore for this scheme last month. But even that is not enough. There is still a gigantic shortfall of more than 16,500 crore. Again, they still have 3 months left in this financial year. So, while people like Khattar blame the people collecting data and BJP brags about how much employment they have given to people using ads, more and more people are using their job cards to earn a minimum wage because they have no other option, and even that scheme is being mismanaged. Anyway, keeping jobless people aside, let's move on to people you have given a job to represent you in parliament. It's time for Know Your Neta. Today we are dissecting the life and times of Jaskaur Meena, the member of parliament from Dausa constituency in Rajasthan. She is the leader from scheduled caste wing of BJP and has served as the Union Minister of State for Human Resources and Development previously. Jaskaur Meena hails from the tribal Meena community. She has a B.Ed and a master's degree from the University of Rajasthan. Before getting elected, Meena was a social activist who had been working to uplift her community. She set up a Grameen Mahila Vidyapit, a school for girls in the Savai Madhopur district in Rajasthan. The entire project was crowdsourced. Over 4,000 families in the villages actively worked on funding and building the school. See, good things happen when public pays for services they need, just like News Laundry and our NL Sena projects. So, in 1999, Meena decided to contest the Lok Sabha elections from the Savai Madhopur constituency and won. During her tenure, she was on the committee for the welfare of scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. After her tenure was over in 2004, Meena lost the subsequent election and took a break from parliament. 15 years later in 2019, Meena made a comeback by contesting from the neighbouring Dausa constituency on a BJP ticket. After being re-elected, Meena has been a part of multiple committees like Women Empowerment and Child Development. As a parliamentarian, Meena's performance has been better than most. Her attendance in 17th Lok Sabha is 96%. She has participated in 41 debates and asked 153 questions. Now let's talk about some controversies. Jaskaur Meena frequents TV news channels for some sensational statements which she puts out in quite casual ways. Here's one from July last year.
हम तो आध्यात्मिक शक्ति के पुजारी हैं, आध्यात्मिक शक्ति के हिसाब से चलते हैं। निश्चित भगवान राम का मंदिर बनते ही कोरोना देश से भागेगा।
Okay then, here's one more.
अभी कृषि कानून का ही देख लीजिए कि आतंकवादी बैठे हुए हैं और आतंकवादियों ने AK-47 लिखी हुई है, खालिस्तान का झंडा लगाया हुआ है। ऐसी परिस्थिति में अपन कैसे सोचें कि इस देश की कितनी रुकावटें हैं, जिन रुकावटों को ध्यान में रखते हुए, दूर करते हुए मोदी ग्राम विकास के लिए, जन जन के विकास के लिए, सबका विकास, सबका साथ और सबका विश्वास लेने के लिए आगे बढ़ रहे हैं।
Other than just statements, MP Jaskaur Meena's aggression sometimes goes beyond words. A Congress MP from Kerala, Ramya Haridas, had alleged during the budget session last year that she was hit by Jaskaur Meena when she was protesting in the Lok Sabha. According to Ramya, she had come to the well of the house raising slogans for the house to discuss the Delhi riots. She was mysteriously hit on her shoulder from the back and alleged that Meena was the one that hit her. She even wrote a letter to the speaker Om Birla asking him to look into the matter and check the CCTV footage. Anyway, here are the contact details of Jaskaur Meena in case you want to get in touch with her. That's all I have for you in this week's Sansad Watch. Remember, if you want to make Parliament great again, you need to watch it first. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Sansad Watch. Guys, we are going to cover the 5 state elections which are starting next month. Our editors, our reporters, our producers will be on the ground to bring you stories and also analysis from the ground. So please go to our website newslaundry.com/Sena and contribute for this project. We need some money and resources to make this very giant project possible this time, and we are completely dependent on you. So please do consider supporting our work, and please do consider supporting public interest journalism. Thanks.
The subscription model is something that keeps News Laundry afloat, but we need hundreds of thousands of people to completely transform the news ecosystem. So you pay for news, so it serves you. So click on the link with this video, subscribe to News Laundry and pay to keep news free, और गर्व से कहो, मेरे खर्च पर आज़ाद है खबरें।